Shakespeare's Hamlet tells the story of a university student who returns home on extended leave after his father's untimely and suspicious death. And by suspicious, I do mean murder. And by murder, I do mean fratricide. See, Hamlet's dad, who's also named Hamlet, old King Hamlet, had a younger brother who also wanted to be the king, so he killed his brother by pouring poison into his ear while he was napping in the garden, and, well, then he assumed the throne. Given this setup, you might suspect that a story about politics and power and grieving under these circumstances wouldn't include old King Hamlet. But he is one of the first characters we see and brings our main character his mission that furthers the rest of the plot. And because of this, I want to talk about ghost representation in literature. Oftentimes, authors write about characters who are beyond their experience. Men write about women, black people write about white people, able-bodied people write about disabled people, trans people write about cis people. In order to write a well-rounded cast of characters, you have to go beyond yourself for inspiration. Now, there are ways to do this well. If you've been living with your eyes and ears open, you are well aware of people around you who have different experiences, who have told you about their day, who have told you about their problems, who have told you about the things they're looking forward to, the things they want, the things they're proud of. You have already accumulated a catalog of these things. But sometimes there are experiences that you just have never come across. And this can be for a few different reasons. Some people live in incredibly segregated communities, so they just have literally never met anybody of a different race or a different social class. Sometimes people are insulated by their faith, and their entire social group comes from just within their church. But even so, if you're going to write a story about somebody with experiences you've never had, there are ways to get in touch with what they're like. And by that, I do mean research. You can do an informational interview with somebody in that community or with those experiences, or you can read writings from that community. This will allow you to access the experiences that you yourself haven't come across or experienced in your life. That being said, it's pretty clear that Shakespeare didn't know any ghosts personally and also didn't do any research beyond maybe reading the Bible, making his play a case study in misrepresenting another group's experiences. And I'm not here to drag Hamlet. Honestly, it's my favorite of Shakespeare's plays, but that doesn't change the fact that Act 1, Scene 3 has a couple of lines that just feel like they mischaracterize the ghost experience, especially since Shakespeare's trying to write the most desperate a spirit can be. First, let's look at how old King Hamlet describes his day-to-day existence. Doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burned and purged away. This is all very dramatic storytelling, and it absolutely raises the stakes. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I'd want him to get out of hell too. But the thing is, this isn't what the afterlife is like. And you might be thinking, what's the harm? It tells a good story, that's all it needs to do. But is that how we approach Shakespeare's other plays and characters? Is that how we approach literature? No. In addition to the entertainment value, we look for the honesty in the fiction and the wisdom of experiences beyond our own. So if this depiction of the afterlife is inaccurate, then, well, at least from that standpoint, it's completely useless. Which brings me to my second point. It might surprise you to hear this, but old King Hamlet actually has a lot of things going for him. Now, he doesn't see it because he's written by a guy who didn't bother to look into the kinds of struggles that ghosts actually deal with, but check out this passage. But this eternal blazon must not be. The ears of flesh and blood, list, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love, revenge his foul and most unnatural murder. He has a way out. Things might be rough right now, but he counts his resources. He has a simple revenge quest where the avenging of his murder will set him free, and he has a son who loves him who's going to help him out. That's a lot more than most ghosts have going for them. So to pretend like he's the most wretched a spirit can be, it just rings hollow for anybody who's actually lived this experience. The thing is, most ghosts don't really know what they're supposed to be doing any more than living people do. It's not like dying helps you figure everything out. You actually have to know yourself pretty well and be willing to put in the work. Old King Hamlet just had to have his brother murdered, which that's fine for him, but again, It's not exactly representative of your typical ghost experience, and certainly is not the most wretched. Now, again, this is a case study. I'm not coming for Shakespeare's Hamlet. In fact, I've met Shakespeare, and he acknowledges that he could have done a little more research in writing his ghost characters. But as a case study, it's still useful. When you write about an experience that you're not intimately familiar with and didn't do a whole bunch of research into, you can end up misrepresenting a group. Now, it's one thing when you write about the dead. We are not bound by the caprices of others. But when you do the same with the living, you might actually change the way that people see, interact with, and legislate other people. If you enjoyed this video and want more of my content, you can click the like button, you can click the subscribe button, you can even click the notifications button. If you want to help fuel this video in the algorithm, leave a comment down below. And if you want to help me do what I do, you can leave me a tip in my Ko-fi, link in the description below.